Well, hello everyone. This is Chrystal from Chrystal in Astrology, and I am super excited tonight to get to share with you a message that I've been really working on in my own personal life, and I've been really praying about and thinking about and really seeking, I should say, searching and seeking the answer. And what is the question? The question is, who is this woman of the 21st century? Now, we know when we get into the 1900s, that is the 20th century, but as we've moved into, the year 2020, we are now into the 21st century. And I have been asking myself this question: what does this woman look like? Who is she? I've been hearing so many things and so many other people talking about women. I've been hearing people talking about the divine Venus. I've been hearing people talk about the queen. I've been hearing people talk about, I don't know, this woman and that woman, and, looking at women who are intuitive as women to look up to. Looking at women who, are quiet and meditative to are being the new women that we're seeking. And I think we're looking for a deeper woman. This woman that's wanting to come out from behind the scenes. She's deep. She's real. She's honest. She's even honest about all her shortcomings. She's ready to just talk about them. She's ready to laugh about them. She's ready to face them. And it's hard because this woman of the 21st century, now, as we move into this series, and I hope to get feedback from you guys because I'm kind of winging it, but yet I've got so many things on my mind on this topic that I'm also just jumping out here and not thinking too much about, like, putting this all in a perfect, route, schedule, routine, because, when you're flowing intuitive messages and you're learning and you're growing, it doesn't always happen like that, does it? Mm-mm. So I'm just going to share and teach as I learn and as I grow and as the things that work out in my life. So, just to tell you guys a little bit about me, I guess I'll start there. I just turned 52 this year. I was born September 6th of 1968. For those of you who are interested and would like to take the time to look at my chart, I don't mind because, here I am out in the public, and I want to be true to myself and true to my life. And so, in that being said, I was born on September 6, 1968 at 7:24 p.m. in West Covina, California, which is in Los Angeles. And I was born, in fact, it's so interesting because if you look up the city of West Covina in Los Angeles, California, it has an amazing chart and has a lot of Aquarius in it, which is interesting that I was born. And I was actually born at Queen of the Valley Hospital in West Covina, California. And it's funny because I have a Mars in Leo. So there's always that little Queen of the Valley thing going on, that feeling of that little queen, growing into that woman that, is able to stand tall, stand strong, and has integrity and all of those things. Because those are things that have been important to me throughout my life. Um, so anyway, I have a Pisces rising. I have a moon in Pisces, sun in Virgo, uh, Mercury, Venus, Libra, and Mars, Leo. So this and Jupiter, Virgo. So anyway, I could go on and on about my chart, but and I may share some things about it. I like to share about my personal chart experiences so that you guys can look at your own. So it's not just all about me. Although it's fun to just to talk about things that you're growing in and you're working in, you're learning in. So that's where I'm at right now. So um, this woman is a woman I really believe is born in the 1960s. Okay, this 21st century woman. And so we're going to be looking back at some of the years throughout this series of people born in the 60s. I'll also be looking at women in the 70s, women in the 80s, women in the 90s. So we'll try to go through these women. But right now I'm going to start out with kind of this woman in the 60s. Like I said, I'm 52. So starting with myself, since I know myself the best, I guess I'll start with myself. starting with myself, this is a time in your life where you have gone through your Uranus opposing Uranus um, transition in your life, okay? It's an opposition that happens from about 42 to 47, 48, okay? And it's when you go absolutely wild and crazy and you just want to totally change your life upside down. You want to be bad. You want to go out and be wild. And that's why you do see a lot of men and women in their early, 40s, that time when they talk about the change of life. And you could be sitting there right now, especially women out there in their 30s right now. I know how it is, especially when you get to about midpoint, about 35, before you hit this shot in the arm, okay? And you think you know it all. Because at 35, that midpoint really just feels like, because you've made it past your first Saturn, right? You may be married at this point. You may have children in our 30s, right? But something happens once we hit this little point where, our kids are a little older. Maybe they're in high school, and, you've been doing the grind. You've been working hard with your husband, your life, your family, taking care of everyone, being there, being on time, making sure you got clean socks for the kids and all that crazy stuff, right? Crock pots and soccer games on the weekend. And yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of rambling off. It might sound like I'm rambling, but I'm really just kind of rambling off this woman, right? She's so busy. Um, but once you hit your first Chiron return, you'd have to be 100 to hit your second Chiron return. So from about 48 to 52, there's like that strand. Some Chiron returns last about 7 years. So, you have to look at your specific one. But at 50, we have what's called this Chiron return. And Chiron is the wounded healer. And it's almost like everything in your life that's ever happened to you, every emotion, every problem, everything, every relationship, every injury, woundedness, disappointment, your own disappointments, they really all come to the surface. They really come to the surface, and it can play out for a lot of people differently. A lot of times, this is the time also when you're going through the change of life, okay? So we call this the Chiron return. It's also, some people call the crone. This is a wise woman. Once you've gone through your change of life, that's all I'm going to say. Now I'll have respect for you as a woman, even for myself. You just don't understand until you have gone through this cycle. And I'm kind of in the process. I hit this cycle really, really hard in 2017. I just hit the peak. I had the tower moment of my life that summer of 2017. And again, these are things I'll go into more depth with. I'm kind of trying to figure out how the best way for this series to come through, because I really want to do, and I'm not sure how many, but I really want to do about 10, 15-minute messages. And then, we can kind of build on those. So this woman is a woman who may have grandchildren right now. And again, I was talking about this woman who's gone through the 42 to 47, 48 period. It's when Uranus opposes Uranus in your chart. So for example, I was born with Uranus in Virgo in 1968 at 28 degrees. And in 2010, Uranus moved into Pisces and was opposing Virgo at exactly 28 degrees when I had a radically radically shift in my life, literally on the day. And I will talk about this throughout the series. I'm kind of setting this up right now as an introduction, just to see if you guys, how you feel about going on this journey with me, what questions you have. I really hope that you'll share with me and just share any thoughts you have, even if you want to do that privately, and send me an email, because this is a way for us as women to go deeper. Like, I'm really ready to go deep right now, and I feel like we all need to go deep as women. I see a lot of women out there, again, like I said, talking about women, and they're so young. It's so funny to me because they're so young, and yet they're talking about things that women who have gone through, they would know not to talk about them, that they're almost sanctified and just like a sanctuary, sanctified moments and events. And I'm just going to say this because I'm going to get like really high on my horse right now. If you put down other women, and we've all done it, okay? And we it's like the forefront of all of our lives. Women against women is just the worst thing in the world. I mean, I tell my husband that all the time. I said, it's not even that women are competing with other men. They're competing against other women. We're looking at other women. We're evaluating ourselves by other women. And yet we're all in this stage of life. Okay, there's this stage we're in. I mean, there was a time when women would all sit around on the back porch and crochet together and talk together and give each other words of wisdom, and life was simple. But nowadays, we live in such a narcissistic, raging society, and especially as women, that everybody's out for their own. Everybody's out for their own, and nobody believes in each other, and everybody's out to put each other down. Yes, they see the good, but how can they bring it down? And there is no respect. I'm really having a hard time finding respect in our communities and in our, like myself. I have been a part of a couple of different communities. I've worked with animals my whole entire life. And so I'm part of a huge animal community that works with animals and teaches how to communicate and how to experience the incredible healing that animals offer and the incredible joy and confidence and all those things. So it's more than just, oh, how do I walk a dog or how do I ride a horse? I go into more deeper topics. It's just my passion. But also I've been in the astrology community since 2012. This is, another story. I'm just setting these stories up. You guys are going to be like, I hope you're hanging on right now because we're going to be talking about so many cool things, I think. I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. But I've been a part of the astrology community since 2012. And at first I was so excited because I thought, oh my God, I have found astrology, and I had been studying it privately, kind of in the closet for a lot of years prior to me coming out through social media. It was just a private study, and I was using it with animals and relationships and family stuff and just kind of playing around with it and learning about myself. And I finally realized this incredible moment that I said, oh my God, I don't have to compete with anyone anymore, especially those women in the astrology community, that I can actually have really good, wise women in my life, really good friends. We could really support each other. We could really encourage each other. Why? Because if we truly understand astrology and we truly understand our charts, then we know how unique we are created and how incredibly beautiful we each are individually, and how I can't be you and you can't be me. And the even thought to want to put each other down or want to make each other, put each other down, make each other jealous, or whatever we do as women, it's everywhere. It would be almost like, a sin against humanity for women to go against each other if we truly understood the gift we were given. And yet we don't. So how can we as women expect to be powerful and incredible when we can't even treat one another with respect and power? The more you give out, the more powerful and the more incredible things come back your way. But I feel like we're in a very, very fallen society right now in regards to women. We're talking about women. I believe that women are getting a bad rap right now. Being that we are rising as women, this new movement, and coming up against sexuality and coming up against men and coming up against misogyny and, and breaking out and all these things. It's kind of like all of these words, have you ever watched Charlie Brown and he's listening to the teacher talk and she's going, wah, 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 wah. It's this funny kind of thing where she's talking, but she has no depth because she has no real life experiences. She's got a few, but these young women coming up need older women to help them understand, because we're coming out of a different generation. And I come from the Pluto and Uranus and Virgo generation with Neptune and Scorpio. And we're badass. We're badass women, man. We ride on the back of bikes. We ride horses. We go, play hide and go seek barefoot in the dark with the on the riverbed with frogs in the buckets. We're young tom girls. We just, there's so much to say about those of us, like I said earlier, born in the 60s. Um, just kind of what I'm talking about right now. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, all of these things to talk about. What do you guys think? Is this going to be an awesome discussion? So, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because I just threw a bunch of ideas and thoughts out just to get us started. Um, I'm not sure how my schedule's going to go. I'd like to put up a video right now every night this week. But as life goes, whenever I plan things, I have to be careful because then the world changes and it doesn't go that way for me. So I'm going to go with the flow and begin this conversation with you beautiful women out there. How can we be better? How can we be more powerful? How can we give to one another our talents, our gifts, our encouragement, and receive it back in such an amazing way that we're lifting each other up? And when we as women lift each other up and nurture the earth, I mean, there's nothing that we can't conquer together. There's nothing we can't accomplish. And it's our turn. It's our time. Everybody's looking to the beautiful, almighty woman, the queen of the valley. Who is she? What does she look like? Well, we're going to be finding that out. So thank you for joining me. Please comment below if you'd like me to talk about something specific or share some of your thoughts. Let's get this conversation going. And I will be back again if you want, be watching for this series to be unfolding this week. And let's see where we go with it. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a great day and lots more to talk about. Talk to you soon.